Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. I'm Kate, the Old Lady, and this is The Comparison, episode 2 of this look at the two Normandy 1944 games, The Dark Summer and Normandy 44. Today, especially, we're looking at Normandy 44. Let's get into it. So here's the look at Utah Beach. At the setup turn, the 4th Division is waiting offshore, boarding the landing craft and getting ready to go ashore. U.S. Airborne landed during the night, blanking in the area behind Utah Beach. Then at Omaha Beach, where the 29th and 1st Divisions are likewise transferring to their landing craft, and the 2nd and 5th Rangers are preparing to scale the cliffs at Pointe du Hoc. And finally, at Gold Juno Sword Beaches, where the British and Canadian units prepare themselves for landings. The British Airborne Division has landed on the Orme Canal and are preparing to take and hold Pegasus Bridge. Next, at the end of Turn 1, here is Utah Beach again. The 4th Division is hooked up with the 101st and 82nd, but the Germans are rushing to contain. Over at Omaha Beach, the breakout is happening as the Germans are caught with only light forces behind the Omaha Beach. The Rangers were thrown back at Pointe du Hoc, unable to establish a foothold at the cliff top. And over at Gold Juno and Sword, airborne brigades are taking a beating, while the units at Sword struggle to relieve them. The 12th SS Panzer Division is on the way. Here we are at the end of Turn 2. The forces at Utah Beach are still trying to break out. Germans have a cordon set up. One powerful mechanized combat command has landed and another is on the way. German paras are fighting the US paras in the south behind Utah, while the bicycle battalions all gather quickly to set up defenses. Omaha Beach has gone very well. The boys are ashore and moving inland. Tanks are leading the breakout, all pushing the few surviving Germans back hard. And the British and Canadians are moving towards Caen slowly, grinding their way forward over the shattered remnants of German strong points, but it looks like they may not make it in time to save the airborne from the 12th SS Panzer. Then finally, at the end of Turn 3, the US forces are just about ready to cut the peninsula off for the Germans behind Utah Beach. Armor has come up from the beach and provided a spearhead to overcome the lightly armed bicycle battalions. Boys at Omaha have penetrated well inland and have started to turn east and west to help their neighbors. Omaha is also building its Mulberry floating harbor. And packed beaches at Gold and Juno and Sword. Stiff German attacks from the 12th SS Panzer Division have kept the British and Canadians in check. So now, as it just goes back to the generic floating around the battlefield we did before, let me talk about the game as I've found it over these first 3 turns. First, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The mechanics took some time to get used to, but I believe I'm getting them relatively well now. The rulebook is good, but could use some work as a reference material. For instance, I want to use some artillery shifts. In section 11, there's a load of text on shifts of various sorts. Checking into it, I found the arty shifts and wondered what the range was. No information. I ended up having to reread the entire rulebook, searching for the information before I found it under HQs in section 17, special units. I'm aware that we're trying to cut down on rules bloat, but adding "and it has a range of 5 hexes" would not have been a burdensome addition to the Section 11 rules on combat, or see Section 17 for more, or some other method of making sure the information was accessible to the player without searching the book. It does have an index, but there is no listing for artillery shifts except 11.0. This is just one example, of course. There are several others. As to the mechanics, they're fairly straightforward once you get into the game some. It took a while to begin to see terrain as extra strength points for the defense, but begin to see it I did. It's an unusual mechanic. The defender literally adds virtual strength points to their combat value based on the terrain they're occupying. Until you see terrain as a source of these strength points, it's hard to judge attacks with any accuracy. Towns, cities, and bocage add the most DCBs, or defensive combat bonuses, to the pile, meaning your little 2-strength infantry battalion could add up to 5 more strength points from terrain. Otherwise, the main modifier on the CRT is shifts, meaning moving columns to the left or right, effectively increasing to the right or decreasing to the left the ratio of attacker to defender. Shifts can be awarded for air support, artillery support, naval support, the presence or absence of armor, and even terrain. Reinforcements can be a little confusing as the mechanic used is reinforcement points. These are awarded per turn based on the weather. The units they purchase come with point costs ranging from 1 for a 1-step unit to 4 for a U.S. Combat Command or British Armored Brigade. This is a useful player aid card for this situation, though. The Allied one has all the different types of units gathered by the number of reinforcement points it takes to bring them in. Overall, this is an enjoyable, highly playable game. And now, on to Dark Summer. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day, and take care.